So the first thing that I done here is I designed the photo that I wanted to use for this project. I removed their background from the original print. I got this wallpaper background and I placed them into this background here and then kind of blur their edges a little bit to kind of make them look like they're actually there and sinking into the grass a little bit. Then I used my HP Color Jet laser printer and I printed it. Now, just so you know, this is mirrored. You want to print it mirrored because when you glue it onto something, it will then be in the correct orientation. Here's my supply of wood slices, and I noticed that several of them have developed that nasty little split there. This one's too small for what I want to do, and that one's too big and it's got a split. So I'm going to use this one. I need some sawdust, and you'd think that I would have some sawdust readily available in my wood shop, but no. I just happen to be just a little too clean for my own good. So I need to make some sawdust. And the only thing I know that makes sawdust the best and quickest is a planer, thickness planer. So let's make some sawdust. Here's the sawdust, and I got some Gorilla wood glue here. Let's get a big old goop of glue out. Here we go. All right, so here I got some glue mixed with some sawdust. Not knowing what to do, I'm going to push it all into that crack there. Here we go. It's not bad, not too bad. Nice and smooth feeling. It's got ridges, so I'm going to now paint this with a thick coat of white paint. Try not to get it on your bark, okay? And should protect it, but I'm gonna be lazy here. Well, let me show you this real quick before I continue. But you should be able to see those little potholes, pot marks? It's like a bad case of acne scarring, and you can see, let's see, where's it at? There they are. You see those ridges? All those ridges right there? Yeah, right there, right there. There you go. See those ridges? Yeah, those need to be flattened out. I mean, it might work the way it is, but why chance it? So what you want to do is when your primer dries, you want to add another coat. So it's the next day, and the white primer is dry. It's rough feeling, and if you look real close, you'll see that I wasn't able to get a really flat surface. I think we can get away with this. I'm gonna hope we can because I've put enough on here. Now what I want to do is take a light sandpaper just to take those little rough nibs off and give it a nice smooth surface. And also it will help when I'm gluing the image to it to grab onto this paint. A sheet of P1000. It's a wet, but I'm going to use it dry just because I'm a rebel without a cause. And so it's fine enough that I won't sand too much of this off. This should do quite well. And that was it. Okay, so that's all we need to do out here in my garage. The rest of it is going to be done inside. Now, because I painted this surface white, it's not going to absorb the glue as quickly as bare wood. And because of that, I'm going to need more time for drying. Second thing is that because it's all white, when I apply white glue or gel medium or whatever, it's going to be hard to tell that I have complete coverage. Anywhere that I have not put any glue will not have an image transferred. So in order to make sure I get complete coverage, I need to be very liberal with the glue that I'm going to use. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to use, well, a lot of glue. This leads to the potential of smearing the image, because if it gets wet, which glue can get wet, it is wet, too much of it can cause this image to start to smear as I'm trying to apply the glue onto the surface and glue this on. It can allow this to slide around. And another thing too is that too much wetness will wrinkle the paper. So how do I avoid that? Well, I'm going to protect this image so that I can be liberal with the glue and not affect the transfer. And to do that, I'm going to use this box here. See if we can get it in the camera there so you can see it. This is an acrylic coating here, it says. So I'm going to spray it with this, but now here is an important point that I need to make. When you're spraying onto something that's sensitive to moisture, you can end up wetting this. And I don't want to wet this. Even the reason I want to protect this is to prevent it from wrinkling and prevent pre-activation of the coating that this paper has that the image is printed on. And so in order to do that, I need to dry apply this spray. And that's going to take a little practice for some. But it's worth doing because it allows you to be a little more liberal with the glue when it comes time to gluing it onto something. So to do this, I'm going to spray by standing back a good 3-4 feet, spraying in this direction, hopefully not all over my room and floor, so that the mist will gently fall onto the image, and then it will accumulate to the point that I can come a little closer with it because it will already have an initial protection. So this is what I'm going to do right now. I'm standing back. You can't see me because you're looking at this, but I'm standing 3-4 feet away from this. And I'm just giving it little quick bursts, not enough to wet the paper. I'm going to try to protect it by not missing any areas there. Give it a nice burst there. And it dries very fast because of the fact that it's drying before it even reaches the paper. I'm now at my art desk here, whatever you want to call it. And we're now going to apply this image onto this painted surface. Unfortunately, I got lots of ridges here, which is probably going to cause me problems. I may or may not be able to get a good transfer, and if not, I'll have to start all over again. For this, the glue I'm going to use is just Mod Podge. Now, the reason I'm not going to use gel medium is because the acrylic gel medium reacts with this crystal clear, and it tends to cause the crystal clear to be removed, and I don't want that to happen. But regular glue or Mod Podge, that will not happen, so that's what we're going to use. I'll pour on there a nice liberal amount, and I want to go for complete coverage, especially since I got all those grooves that I'm going to have to make sure that I get into. You do not want any dry spots whatsoever on this. I think I have excellent coverage here. I don't think I'm missing any spots at all. That looks good. So I'm going to apply this directly on the image first. And I said I was going to do it in this orientation. And that's going to be the middle there, and that's going to be the middle there. Press, don't let it slide, just press. Now, I gotta lift this over because I need to start rolling out the air bubbles and all that stuff. Make sure you got that image right where you want it. Now look at all this that I've gotta roll out. From the center, roll it out. Uh-oh, I got something right there that I'm not happy with. This is not good. Uh-oh, I'm already messing it up. It looks like I got a piece of... Oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. I'm already ruining my transfer here. Oh, man. I got to end up getting a piece of bark right underneath there. That would have left a nasty spot. Let's hope this works. Part of the image was already starting to transfer, which tells me that I didn't spray protect this very well, because it should not have been able to penetrate that quickly. And I didn't apply any water to release this paper. Well, we'll see how it turns out. If I have to do it over again, I will. All right. Now we need this to dry 100% completely. And let me tell you, when you do this on the paint, it doesn't dry as quickly as if you did it straight on raw wood. So I'm going to give it a little bit of this blast of this heat gun here. But overall, I'm not going to attempt to remove this paper until several hours have passed, so I could feel confident that it is going to transfer. As a matter of fact, I'll probably won't touch it until tomorrow, just to be sure. But here's a heat gun, and I'll just go ahead and give it a quick head start just to help it not lift on me while I'm letting it dry, because I can't sit here and stare at it all day. So I'll give it a head start. If you see any bubbling press it down. You want to have good contact. All right, that's all I'm going to do for that right now. But I want you to see, you can see the ridges through the paper. All right, so I am concerned about these little divots and stuff because I didn't make this a very flat surface. It does have these little ridges from, you know, the saw that was used to saw this wood. Okay, it's the next day, and this thing, I have to imagine, is thoroughly dry. So, what we're going to do is we're going to now moisten this paper in the back here with water. You want to make sure, especially the edges, you know, because if it sticks on the edge, it might try to mess up the image itself when you're trying to pull it off. Because, you know, we're sticking this, we're gluing it on paint, which, you know, I consider questionable adherability in itself. I don't know what it is with paint, but you want to be real careful not to start peeling the edges off. So I like to moisten this thing really, really well. Now, what's different about using this paper than just straight printer paper is that it's easier to peel off. If you do the regular printer paper, you can't peel it off. You have to rub it off, and then you rub off the image as well, which is an issue. And it's so time consuming and messy. So for those of us who like easy peeling off, this paper is the way to go. Now I'm going to start, and you want to pull and stay low. Don't pull up, okay? We're going to pull back real carefully like this. Separate it. All right, not too bad. Of course, it came all off here for the most part. There's a couple of spots that didn't. But the whole thing came off here, the image. But if you recall, when I originally pulled this back to get that little piece of bark off, you know, I had already lifted it and left some areas. So anyway, but there you go. That's pretty nice, I think. Not 100% perfect, but it's really nice. I have lots of choices here. So let's say I take one of these green pencils here, and what if I was to do something like, just to tone it down a bit. Get an even darker one. And okay, so I've touched this up the best that I could with what I have, and apparently I don't have as much stuff. Wear gloves when working with resin, people. I learned the hard way. It's no fun trying to get that weird sticky feeling off your skin, and it could be annoying for the whole day. So I'm using this epoxy resin. It's like a 24-hour cure time. You have an A and a B, okay? So you want equal parts. So I'll use these little cups like this, and I'm going to pour in, let's see, okay, I'm going to use half of that little cup of A. Make sure they're equal amounts. Okay, a little bit more. All right, looks spot on to me. All right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pour these both in here. You want to mix it up really, really well. Really well. Did I happen to mention that you want to mix this up really, really well? Just in case. Okay. Would it level? Let's find out. Okay, I think it's starting to level out a little bit too. Okay, I'm going to take some of this. I'm going to start painting around the sides. If it looks good so far like that, imagine what it would look like with more. Okay, okay, and let's give it some more in areas that look like it could use it. Yeah, you could use some, you could use some. How about you? You want some more? I'll give you some more there and some more there.
You are freaking out.
Well, there's something in here. Some piece of metal or something? I don't know what. Well, that looks pretty good. I got some air bubbles in here. And with that, I'm going to use fire. Wow, those little white spots almost disappeared. I mean, this really, really looks awesome. I really messed this thing up. Off camera, there was something that I didn't like. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I tried to take it off, and because this had already been setting up for a few hours, I messed it up. Look at that. See that? And then I try to add some more resin to it, and that didn't work the way I had hoped, and I ended up scraping off some of the green grass. And then it dawned on me, and I thought, Rix, you are a complete imbecile. Now, I know you guys are probably going, you just figured that out just now? But seriously, think about this. Remember when I was taking the pencil, the color pencil, and I was dabbing, the little white spots that was in the green lawn? It did a great job. I mean, look at that. It did a good job. However, I'm a knucklehead. Look what I still have. I still have the remainder of the sheet that has the green grass. All I would have had to have done was dab a little bit of Mod Podge glue on all the white spots, lay this down on top of it, let it dry, moisten it, peel it off, and it would cover up those green spots. It would have blended right in just using this. There we go. Okay, let's start sanding this down a little bit, make it nice. Yeah, not a lot of... I gotta be careful not to burn or melt the... I don't want to melt it. It gets hot and it melts, so... All right, there's that. Okay, look at that. Wow, what a difference a day makes. Okay, folks, I'm going to go as far as that 1500 here. And now, here's what I'm going to do now to finish this project up. Is I'm going to camouflage that white part there. And the way I'm going to do that, it's nice and dry. Nice and dry. I got to make sure it's nice and dry. Is I'm going to use this Mod Podge. Okay. And I'm going to dab a little bit of Mod Podge right over that area right there, just where I want. And let me take up some of it. I want to make sure that I'm not putting it anywhere except on that white spot. All right. Okay. Then I'm going to take this, the green grass of home there. I'm going to put that right over it. And as usual, we're going to do this. Okay. We're going to do this. Okay, now since it's such a small area, I'm going to imagine that it's dry. If it doesn't work, I'll do it again and be a little more patient, like give it time, a lot of time to dry. But let's see if we can camouflage that little spot. I'm just going to moisten that area right there. Okay, get a paper towel and take up the excess as usual. Let's see what happened. Ha ha ha! Look, took it off there and it put it on here. Now it's not perfect, but it looks like it's part of the grass. Looks like the foliage there. And everything is fixed there. Now, let's mix up plenty of that resin again. All right, everybody. So this thing has had a couple of days to dry. And it looks pretty good, except it has kind of a dull look to the top here, except for some spots are shiny. So I'm going to try to show you that. You can see we got some shiny area, and then the rest of it is not as shiny. I mean, we do have a little light reflection or glare, but it's not overall glass-like. So I'm going to try something now. Taking this marker here and just putting a nice little line like this so that I know when I've completely taken a layer off. Sanding with 600. Get some water on there. Once those lines disappear, I know that I have completely sanded the surface here. So that was 600 I just finished. I'm going to do it 1,000. Use this marker. Let's get the 1,000 grit done here. See. Let's clean it up. See what I got left here. Okay. Yep. All right. I see no marker left, and it's getting shinier too, which is nice. Not sure. Should I do this marker thing again? Probably. I can always take it off with another one if it doesn't work on the. All right, so that's going to make sure that I don't miss any spots, and then I get a layer taken off. Okay, here we go. Well, that all came off pretty good. I'm surprised how quickly that comes off. So, I clearly have sanded the whole thing because there are no marks left, and I marked this thing up pretty good. So, that is technically all the sanding I need to do to bring this to a mirror finish. But if I want to get really, really spiffy, okay, what was the one I just did? I just did 1500. So what if I went to 3000? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and it just kind of glides on there. Give a nice buff. Micro wood sanding stuff. Polishing grit stuff, as I mentioned before. Wipe it all off. Wipe it off there. And now the finishing touch is the car polish. And I think that should be it, right? Wow. Wow, look at that. Let me see if I can give you some. Look at this. You see that? The shine that's on there. Wow, that's nice. If I say so myself. Okay, so I'm going to just spend a little time to clean up the edges and stuff, cut off excess resin here, and put a label on the back because this is a gift. So we'll say that it's from me and the missus. And that'll be it. So, okay, there you go. That is a beautiful, look at that. It is beautiful, got the bark. Okay, the back, of course, is going to be, you know, the natural with my patchwork there. And, all right. Wow, that's pretty cool.